that Team SG was involved in, the diving and the speed skating.
Also, within the hour, you'll be able to relive some golden moments from our Team Singapore athletes, of which there have been plenty.
We're going to follow them on their journey and appreciate every ounce of effort that they have put in.
Right now though, it is the two sports that we're talking about. Diving, which has the men's and women's synchronized 10 meters platform.
And speed skating, in which our athletes were going for gold in the 1,000 meters and the men's and women's relays.
So here is our order for the final. And away in the final of the women's 1,000 meters. And Chin wants to lead them. Still, it's Chin and Chong. And falling off the pace is Catherine Magno. So these are 1, 2 and 3. It's just what order, and it's still Malaysia 1 and 2. Anya Chong moves up on the inside. She's looking for a second gold medal, and Cheyenne Go goes with her. Chong round the last bend. Chong to the line and gets there, but it's a silver medal to Cheyenne Go of Singapore. There's confirmation for you.
I'm quite happy about winning the silver. It was a pretty close race between me and the other two Malaysian girls. I was quite close at the end, and I think I could have done. There was like a chance I could have done better if I just like pushed it that little bit more or changed like my decisions tactically. But overall, I'm very happy with how it turned out.
The silver medal to Singapore.
She skated such a smart race to get herself in the medals. So Sharam it is, who's in the final for Malaysia. So we've cleared up that question. And then Tong Nam foxing a little, sitting back in second. It's a very strong position to be in. You can make the move. Chong now getting overtaken by and Tong Nam. Tong Nam makes the sprint we were expecting from him. Lucas Ng right with him. Lucas Ng trying to make a race of it with Tong Nam. Ng moves to the outside. Tong Nam. And Ng. These are the gold and silver medalists unless somebody falls. Can Lucas Ng make a move on him? Tong Nam. 1 lap to go. Ng just drifts half a metre off the pace. Tong Nam looks like he's still got enough in him. Oh, Ng moves to the inside and the track markers go flying. So Ng, silver medal. But it was very close, and we'll just see if the officials are happy about that last turn. Tong Nam believes he's got it. It's there. Tong Nam has been given it from Lucas Ng and Hazim Sharum of Malaysia. So a silver medal to Lucas Ng.
I just have to focus and reset myself because yesterday was unfortunate that I got a penalty, and that it was a good comeback coming in silver. At least it was the best I could do for today. Yeah.
Lucas Ng. Again, great timing and maturity of racing from Lucas. Malaysia in the blue caps. 3,000 metre relay as the backup skaters circle on the inside of the track, and away we go. Oh, and a fall early for Singapore. It's a disastrous start for them, and they quickly hand over. So they've immediately got 50 or so metres to make up, and it's Malaysia in front. Oh, and a heavy collision. To the Malaysia back in control of the race, but not without some scary moments. Hits the bell lap, and it's going to be another gold medal for Malaysia in the women's 3,000 metre relay. Chong comes down to the line, arms in the air from the rest of the team. So Singapore, indeed, with the silver medal.
We're very excited to win the silver medal. If you watch the race, we actually came from behind. We had a bit of a stumble at the start, but we managed to overtake Thailand and Indonesia, and then after that we got ourselves a good lead in front of them and behind Malaysia. What happened was Cheyenne's blade actually, her screw became loose, so she raced the entire race with a loose blade. So we are really, really very thankful and very excited that we got a silver medal. It was a really hard-fought medal.
Singapore at least keep the orange. Everyone got away cleanly this time, at least into the first bend. A very tight third position at the moment. It's led out by Malaysia. Crowd likes to see that. And Singapore just taking over the lead now. But they might be able to make the inside move there. Now they do. They come up into second place, Malaysia. Singapore drift wide, and Malaysia take over the lead to the delight of the crowd. Bell lap. Applause from the teammates. And very carefully negotiating the last couple of bends. Into the straight, cross the line. Thank you very much. Indonesia second behind a triumphant Malaysia. They've done it. Nothing like winning at home. And Singapore will claim the bronze medal. Well, there's a penalty been given to Indonesia. And Singapore have been granted second place. So that's another silver for Singapore. Thailand, of course, we know did not finish, but there's a penalty against Indonesia. One of the exchanges must have been incorrect.
It's an experience to bring home. It's our first time competing at the SEA Games and a major game. So whatever we go back with, we are happy with it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Frida Lim and Myra Lee from Singapore. Slow motion. 49.2, so that's a good score, and they move into first place. So 49.2, 49.2. Thailand in third place.
201B, 2.0.
Delightful. Let's create a bit of a gap. And they've thrown out the challenge to Singapore.
8.5.
By itself with 99.6 and Singapore 95.4. So this pairing from Singapore in their third dive. They trail Singapore by Malaysia by 4 points. You can hear that. It's a lot of discipline to be able to stand there for such a long time and then wait for one to say go.
Score
157.56. Singapore 157.56. So that battle is just drifting towards Malaysia's favour. Now, Malaysia scored 61.2 for their last dive. Oh, just the execution points will drop for that entry. Initial look. So only 6.5s for synchronization, so score of 53. That's not enough. That drops them further behind. And the lead for Malaysia over Singapore has extended to 15 points now. Well, don't give the other teams any opportunity. into the twists, the somersaults.
Scores for execution.
Wow, 300.36. Goodness. Win the gold medal in the women's 10-meter platform synchro with a score of 300.36 points.
So
Indonesia with Aditya Ristaputra and Andrian. Those two dives are all the same, the back dive and then the reverse dive. And that's the straightforward dive. So they'll all complete this one first up, and then they'll do the reverse dive for their second. Good synchronization scores there, and they should be two for this. Standard set by the Chinese over recent times. Also the Russians have come back into it. Great Britain team doing a lot of work on developing their divers. Canadians, Germans of course. Nice. Gosh. If they had any worries about the ability of this young combination, two 16-year-olds to continue 9s and 9.5s for both, 101.4.
Referee has pressed a whistle.
Singapore pairing of Chan and Chong. They need to get a score slightly better than what Indonesia did. Off the board together. Nice rotation together.
6, 7.
No, 155.1, so they're in third place now. The diver on the left, let's see as they hit the water here. Who makes a big splash? Someone did. 224. Indonesia starting here with 227. Aditya Ristaputra, Andrian, quite an experienced synchronized team.
Scores for 8, 7.5.
They only have to score a 54 to win this. No trouble to them. Totally poised and well in control.
Scores 7.5.
And that means they have had a clean sweep of the competition here. All 13 events have been won by divers from Malaysia.
So well done to all Team Singapore athletes on the final day of competition. We're going to go for a break, and when we come back, as promised, we're going to bring you a wrap-up of some of the sports.
It may sound a little bit cliched, but you're going to see joy, you're going to see tears, because it's a depth of emotion that only sports can bring. And you'll catch all that right here on Today at the Games. Hello and welcome back to Today at the Games, MediaCorp's coverage of the 29th Southeast Asian Games, a final show for the final day of competition as we bring you some of the high points once more.
And low points as well. Let's not forget, after all, that's what sport is all about. So let's get caught up in that wave of emotion now as we bring you some athletics, bowling, shooting, and of course, swimming.
But before we do that, let's revisit our favorite building, Mark, the MyTech building, as we trek into the table tennis arena.
Now, paddlers have always been delivering goals at these biennial games. Let's see what their report card is for 2017.
5 golds, 6 silvers and 1 bronze. That's the final medal count for Team SG table tennis team at the 2017 SEA Games. There were 7 gold medals on offer at the Kuala Lumpur Games and Singapore was gunning for them all. But all hopes of that sweep were scratched on day 1 with the end of a victorious streak that began at the 1999 Games in Brunei. Pang Shijie and Yu Mengyu lost the table tennis mixed doubles final and the gold to Thailand's pair of Padasak Tanviria Vechikul and Suthasini Suwetabut.
Silver medalist from Singapore, Pang Shijie and Yu Mengyu.
Better news was to come in the women's doubles. Both Singapore pairs worked their way to the finals, so gold and silver were assured for Singapore. And it was just a matter of which team would claim the title. During the match, world number 6 Feng Tianwei took a tumble. But with the help of her teammates, she recovered, and together with Yu Mengyu, she beat the defending champions to take Singapore's first table tennis gold of the Games.
And SEA Games champion, Singapore!
To Singapore's relief, it was another all-Singapore affair in the men's doubles finals. Veteran Gao Ning teamed up with Pang Shijie to beat compatriots Clarence Chiu and Ethan Poe for Team Singapore's second gold in table tennis. 2 gold medals were up for grabs on day 3 of table tennis. In the women's singles semi-finals, Feng Tianwei faced defending champion Suthasini Suwetabut, the Thai girl who has been a thorn in her flesh. It was a tense match. But with that final point, Feng once again showed her mettle and was into the final. So Yihan was her opponent, so it was a guaranteed gold and silver for Singapore. Feng Tianwei fought back from being 2-1 down to Zhou Yihan.
11-7, game to Zhu.
And eventually beat her 4-2 to bag her individual gold medal. In the men's singles, Team Singapore again put both entrants into the final. It was an experience versus youth affair.
5-10.
Gao Ning taking on Clarence Chiu. And it would be experience that won. Gao Ning successfully retained his gold medal with a 4-1 victory over Clarence Chiu. On the last day of table tennis, Singapore was in the finals for both team events. It was Singapore versus Thailand in the women's team finals. In the first match, Feng Tianwei fought back from losing her first set. She then went on to defeat Suthasini Suwetabut 3-1 and gave Singapore a 1-0 lead. Yu Mengyu delivered the second point for Singapore as she defeated Tamolwan Ketkuan 3-1. Yu and Zhou Yihan then easily beat Tamolwan and Orowan Paranang in the doubles tie 3-0 to win the gold medal. So the women paddlers retain the gold medal and continue their dominance in this event. One final gold to be claimed. The men's team final title. Singapore versus Vietnam. Gao Ning gave Singapore the lead when he defeated Vietnam's Dinh Quan Linh 3-1. But it was a nail-biting event as Vietnam drew level with Singapore, Nguyen An Thu defeating Parents Chu 3-1. In the tightly contested double tie, Gao Ning and Pang Shue finally lost out to the Vietnamese duo Duan Ba Tuan An and Ding Quang. With the score at 2-1 in Vietnam's favour, it was down to Pang to save the day for Singapore as he faced Nguyen An Thu in the fourth match. But Nguyen proved too strong for Pang as he smashed his way to win 3-0 and the men's team gold for Vietnam, thus ending Singapore's 14-year winning streak in this event. Singapore still came away as the top table tennis nation, but with the regional opponents snapping at their heels, it might be a question of how long this dominance might last. Team Singapore's team of 12 bowlers arrived in Kuala Lumpur knowing that the host nation would provide the biggest stumbling block in their quest to better the haul of 4 gold medals from the 2015 Games. At the Sunway Pyramid, Singapore could not have asked for a better start to their campaign when Sherry Tan clinched gold on the opening day of the bowling competition in the women's singles event. But over the next 3 days, the Mega Lanes bowling alley would prove to be a difficult hunting ground for our bowlers. In the women's doubles, Singapore was pipped to the gold medal by Indonesia and had to settle for both the silver and bronze medals. In the mixed doubles event, there was no podium finish for Singapore. But our bowlers bounced back in the trios event when Shayna Ng, New Hui Fen and Sherry Tan picked up silver, sandwiched by Malaysia in the gold and bronze medal positions. Thus far, it was a steep learning curve for the men's team, which featured 4 bowlers making their SEA Games debut. But on day 5 of the bowling competition, the team made up of Keith Saw, Jaris Goh, Darren Ong, Timothy Tham, Chia Rehan and Basil Ng stunned everyone by clinching gold in the men's team event with a dominant performance from start to finish. It was a remarkable achievement given that Singapore had not won a men's team event since 1995. The women's team, meanwhile, had to settle for silver, with host nation Malaysia once again proving too strong. Team Singapore then added 1 more medal in the women's Masters event. Shayna Ng lost out to Malaysian veteran Shalin Zulkifli in the stepladder semi-final by a single point to take bronze. The final tally for Team Singapore's bowlers: 2 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze medals. Sailing has traditionally delivered a clutch of medals for Team Singapore at the SEA Games, and it was no different in Langkawi where the sailing competition took place. Singapore's first gold medal came in the men's team laser standard event where the trio of Bernie Chin, Mark Wong and Ryan Lowe edged out Malaysia to take gold. Singapore's women's team in the same class, comprising of Simone Chen, Gillian Lee and Jessica Goh, picked up silver with Thailand taking gold. In the women's 470 class, the pair of Eliza Yuki Yokoyama and Cheryl Teo finished first out of 5 teams with 16 points to add a second gold for Singapore at these games. The Optimist class is where many young sailors get their first taste of competition. And at these games, Singapore's 5 participants in this class were making their games debut. And our young sailors did well to pick up a bronze medal in the mixed team Optimist event.
Being here with all the senior sailors, I feel very happy as before the games, I did not really know them personally, but during the games, I get to know them better and have a closer bond with them.
It's quite an exciting experience. As it's my first games, I feel a bit nervous as a lot of weight on my shoulders to represent the country in both my team racing and individual event in the Optimist class. but so far it's been an enjoyable and learning experience.
Another surprise medal came in the women's windsurfing event. Nicole Lim picked up a bronze medal after finishing behind Thailand and Malaysia. With the lack of wind forcing officials to call off racing on the penultimate day of racing, our sailors had to wait till the final day to add to the medal tally. In the women's laser radial event, Gillian Lee finished first out of 4 with 10 points to take gold. This was especially sweet for Lee, who had taken 2 years off sailing to focus on her education.
Yeah, that's kind of like an inertia of like not wanting to get back, but after like I like got back into the rhythm of sailing, like I really enjoyed it, and so like once I continued sailing, it just became more enjoyable. Yeah, so it was quite I think it was a really good decision for me to get back into sailing.
It was a 1-2 finish for Singapore in the men's laser radial event as Ryan Lowe pipped Bernie Chin to the gold medal. Singapore's final 2 medals of sailing competition came in the individual Optimist events. In the women's Optimist class, Radiance Co finished 3rd with 23 points to claim bronze. And Max Teo finished 3rd out of 6 competitors with 30 points to also claim bronze. Coming into these 2017 Southeast Asian Games in Kuala Lumpur, Team Singapore's marathon runner So Rayong cut a controversial figure after his well-publicised tug-of-war between sponsor commitments and official protocol. While a lesser athlete may have been affected by the episode, So took it in his stride and as further motivation. His reward? Winning the men's marathon event in a time of 2 hours, 29 minutes and 27 seconds to successfully retain the title he won in Singapore 2 years ago. In the track and field competition at the Bukit Jalil Stadium, one of Singapore's longest-standing national records came tumbling down when Dipna Limprasad finished in a time of 54.18 seconds in the 400-metre final.
In the women's 400-metre final, competitors will go once around this 400-metre track, getting off in their staggered lanes, but it looks like immediately Nguyen Thi Huyen is not messing around. The defending champion, gold medalist in 2015. Vietnam, bear in mind, has won every women's track gold at these games. Dipna Limprasad looking good for the silver. A battle here for Pulker to hold on for the bronze, but it's set to be an impressive gold medal for Nguyen Thi Huyen. She is superb over the flat distance 400. Indeed, she's going to win it 52.46. Dipna Limprasad with an impressive finish in silver.
She clinched silver, and in doing so, she rewrote Chi Sui Lee's mark of 55.08 seconds, which had stood for 43 years. It was a second silver for Limprasad at these games after finishing second in the 400-metre hurdles.
Start going in lane 3 is Wasana Winato, the former gold medalist. Wasana Winato is actually caught up best and is running second best overall. We'll have to see when they come out of the second bed, but it's undoubtedly Nguyen of Vietnam who is in the lead and set to claim another gold medal in this event. Well, the Asian record is not going to be in danger, but perhaps the SEA Games record that she set is going to be in danger here. It is going to be Nguyen of Vietnam who demolishes nearly her own record. The battle for silver here is a Dipna Limprasad of Singapore manages to claim the silver medal very impressively on the line in a three-way battle for the 2 remaining medals.
At the 2015 Games in Singapore, sprinter Shanti Pereira fired the imagination of a nation when she won gold in the women's 200-metre final. There were high hopes for her to repeat that performance in KL.
Richardson going inside of Singapore's Shanti Pereira, but immediately on her inside Zulkifli of Malaysia, 23.96 in the preliminaries, but look at the way that Lit Tu Chin is going of Vietnam. 23.65 by the time she hit the straight, she was well in front. Zulkifli putting herself in medal contention here, and the defending champion might even be challenging for the silver here. Shanti Pereira, it's gold for Lit Tu Chin.
Pereira had to settle for bronze with a time of 23.68 seconds.
Veronica Shanti Pereira, she's won bronze now in the 100 and 200.
It was the second bronze medal for her at these games after finishing third in the 100-meter final with a time of 11.76 seconds.
Quicker start, but it's Lit Tu Chin who settles into her stride, and she's going to run to glory. She's going to run to gold. Veronica Shanti Pereira closing quickest, just not quick enough to claim the silver, claims the bronze for Singapore.
But Pereira bounced back from those disappointments together with her teammates Dipna Limprasad, Wendy Eun and Noor Islin Zaini in the women's 4x100 final.
Going to a flyer as well, but building into a stride on the outside is Liti Mong Thuyen of Vietnam. Good handovers for all the competitors so far. Just a little too slow on the inside lane for Malaysia, though. We've got a little bit of speed to work up. For the Singaporeans, just losing a little pace on the back straight. Second bend now. It looks to be Vietnam who take the lead out in front. We'll see as they get into the final flat and the final changeover. But Vietnam looking very solid for the gold medal here. It's a poor handover. It's eventually been passed on in the baton. It'll be brought to victory by Vietnam. The race for silver and bronze is certainly on. Vietnam will come to the gold. In the end, it's just been brought home by Thailand for the silver medal. Singapore finished fourth for the second consecutive SEA Games.
Although they did not have a podium finish, they successfully rewrote the national record with a time of 44.96 seconds. In the women's high jump, Singapore's Michelle Sung won the country's first gold medal in the event since 1965. Sung had tied with Vietnam's Duong Thi Viet An with jumps of 1.83 meters. When both jumpers failed to clear 1.86 meters, they were initially awarded a joint gold before organizers decided to recall both athletes for a jump-off, which Duong won. But Team Singapore officials lodged a protest on the grounds that it was unfair to both jumpers to take part in the jump-off after they had cooled down. The appeal was successful, and both Sung and Duong were awarded a joint gold medal. Singapore's other medalists in athletics were Noor Islin Zaini in the women's 110-meter hurdles, a first for Singapore since 1979, and Rachel Young in the women's pole vault event.
From Singapore, Rachel Isabel Yang.
2 golds, 4 silvers and 2 bronzes. That's the final medal count for Team Singapore shooting at the 2017 Southeast Asian Games. There were only 14 events in Kuala Lumpur compared to 26 at the 2015 SEA Games in Singapore. Team events were dropped, so Team SG couldn't defend their 3 gold medals. And it didn't help when a change of schedule occurred 2 days before the team's departure to Kuala Lumpur. But the show had to go on, and the first medals for Singapore came. A silver courtesy of Tae Siu Hong, and bronze for Nicole Tan from the women's 25 meters air pistol. Then more silvers from Muhammad Irwan in the 10 meters air rifle, plus Ong Jun Hong's strong debut in the 50 meters rifle prone event. But it looked like gold was eluding Singapore until day 4 of competition. Ace shooter Jasmine Sir was all set for her goal in the 10 meters air rifle, only to see teammate Martina Lindsay Veloso pip her to the title in the final shot. Team SG finally got their goal, but Jasmine had to settle for a silver. For Jasmine, chance number 2 came the day after in her pet event, the women's 50 meters rifle, 3 positions. And she took that in style, breaking both the qualifying marks, SEA Games records, and the final score record to grab her goal. Relief and satisfaction for the shooting team.
The
overall performance of the shooting team has been actually very good. Something that we didn't expect that number of medals, especially because it's an individual event. Normally, we would do well in team events where there are more people and more chances, and the team spirit is everyone's fighting for one another. But with individual events, the stress level is definitely higher because you're fighting basically for yourself. And we did very well, coming back with 8 medals altogether, 2 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronzes.
I would say they performed extremely well, given the fact that in fact most of the team events have been removed from this SEA Games, and they are able to hold their own, and they came back with quite a few individual medals. So I would say they have done an excellent job.
And with the new format, really it's anyone's game. Even if you say SEA Games level or world level, really it doesn't matter which level. It's once you enter the final, it's really difficult. And the girls and the guys really pulled through this time round. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them.
In total, Team Singapore broke 4 shooting records at this Games. One was Martinez, set in the final of the 10 meters air rifle. The other 3 belonged to Jasmine Sir, who had 2 in the 50 meters rifle 3 positions, plus another in the 10 meters air rifle qualifier. Add those to her 1 gold and 1 silver, and Jasmine was easily the standout performer.
This time round definitely is Jasmine, because she got a gold and a silver, and I think for her it's been a long time for this individual gold medal. She's waited quite a while for the 3-peat gold medal since 2009, so I'm quite happy that she has got it, and now she can move forward, preparing for the next few games and also to try and qualify for the coming Olympics.
Her 3P finals was to me was OMG. You know, I was standing behind the computer scoreboard, and you know, she was initially she was trailing, and she fought tooth and nail to the very end, and she got the gold medal. And it was an emotional finish for the entire team. It was wonderful.
Everything just keeps changing until the last minute, but I think every shooter hold a positive view over it, and we treat it very positively, and it went well. I think this is the way forward for every shooter out there, to be able to adapt to changes and treat it positively and remain humble, and that competition is not easy. Every competition for me it's getting tougher, but I think that's how you get more enjoyment from it.
1 game down, more to come as a busy season lies ahead for this shooting team.
Well, the first thing that they got to do is take a break. Because the qualification, the selection period plus the training to these games was actually very taxing on them. So they've been training for the last 9 months. So I think the next thing that they need to do is really rest. And we will be starting selections for Commonwealth Games in December. Yep. So moving forward, they will have, and next year is going to be busy because there'll be Asian Games, there'll be Commonwealth Games, Asian Games, and we have the World Championship for shooting. So the World Championship will be the first Olympic qualifier, and the cycle starts all over again. So when we go back, everything goes back to 0. Everyone has an equal chance to qualify to the next few games. Yeah, so everyone will then have to look forward to that and realize that that's the atmosphere we've been trying to create back home, especially for rifle women, where the competition is actually quite intense. It's not just Jasmine and Martina, there are many behind them. So everyone needs to know that there's a chance to qualify, otherwise they won't be training hard enough. So this is what we're trying to create back in Singapore.
Team Singapore sent a total of 568 athletes to Kuala Lumpur. Welcome back to the final edition of Today at the Games. In just a few moments, we're going to have the closing ceremony. But first, a final plunge into the waters.
Now, swimming has always been a very successful sport for Singapore. In fact, 36% of the gold medals won by Singapore at the SEA Games have come from our swimmers.
Generation after generation, we keep continually having new, younger swimmers rising through the ranks to continue with that winning tradition. And these games were no different.
The national anthem of Singapore was heard 19 times over in the space of 6 days at the National Aquatic Centre. On a particular Thursday, 6 events were contested. Majulah Singapura was played 5 times. Such was the dominance of the Singapore team, topping the SEA Games swimming medal tally with 19 golds, 6 silvers and 10 bronzes. Vietnam was a distant second with 10 golds, 7 silvers and 6 bronzes. More importantly, it also meant that the swim team recorded their best ever medal haul at an away games, beating the previous mark of 17 at the 2011 Indonesian Games.
It is Tun Tien Han of Malaysia who finished 4th in the 100 meters backstroke in lane number 2. Thailand have got Kasipat Chokratin who finished 7th in the 100 meters backstroke. Personal best time 57.48 in 3. Zheng Wen with a slight lead over Dui Khoi, who looked a little lost at the 100 meters backstroke a couple of nights ago, looking much better and in much better form this time around. And they'll finish almost touching together as those 3 swimmers plunge, with Lionel Koo in first place and Indonesia in second spot now. A great final 25 meters by Sudatawa, who hands it over to Nathaniel Gagarin, the gold medalist in the 100 meters breaststroke. He's extended the lead now, a body length ahead of Gagarin of Indonesia. Superb swim by Gagarin, and here comes the Olympic champion, Joseph Schooling. Remember his personal best time in this, 50.39 seconds. The Indonesians surely cannot live with him. Sutanto, who finished 3rd to him in the 100 meters butterfly, is in the pool competing against Joe. This might be the biggest winning margin in the SEA Games in terms of the 4x100 meters medley if they don't take good care enough of it. Joseph Schooling, no one comes close in the 100 meters butterfly when it comes to him at Olympic level, so no one comes close when it comes to him at the SEA Games level. Joseph Schooling and Darren Lim gunning after this record of 3:38.25. At the moment, they're just about to smash it if he can continue this form. Darren Lim heading to the wall. It will be a new SEA Games record for Singapore.
I think this meet, we knew that we were going to come in. I know the press was always asking us about the number of medals that we would win. I kept very coy about it because I didn't know what to expect from the other countries, and we only could control the things that we could control here. But one of the most amazing things is that I saw some of these kids come through together as a team, and that was one of the most important things for us as a swimming community, where the coaches and the staff and all the swimmers did their part and they contributed amazing things for this particular SEA Games, and that's why you see the results that you see right now.
It was a team competing here together, and it's not just a team that people see in front of the cameras racing for Singapore. It's a team that works together behind the scenes, so the support staff, the coaches and so on, and to me that's something great to build on to in the future.
2 swimmers who were expected to contribute significantly came in straight from the World Championships. Joseph Schooling and Kwa Tung Wen glossed over any fatigue they might have felt, helping their team with a shining performance at Bukit Jalil. Golden Boy Joe was 6 for 6, winning gold in his 3 individual events, and for good measure, another 3 in the relays.
Well, the big question here, Gerald, is whether Joseph Schooling is going to put on beast mode, because if he does, then we might see the first sub-52-second swim in SEA Games history. Now, before he came about, Joe Schooling, we were all amazed at the likes of Ki Fook and Daniel Bagel clocking sub-54, sub-55. But that was what we term BS, before Schooling. That's a period that's almost unknown now, because since Joe has emerged, we are looking perhaps at the first ever sub-52-second swim in SEA Games history.
Yes, I think he's going to do sub-52. He's going to break that SEA Games record. That comes so naturally to him, and breaking 52 is something that he probably does in his training nowadays.
Joe Schooling going after the SEA Games record, becoming the first swimmer perhaps to go under 52 seconds at the SEA Games. He does 51.38 seconds and a new SEA Games record, the first man ever in the SEA Games to go below 52 seconds is the Olympic champion, Joseph Schooling, naturally.
Jungwon overcame his early disappointment of a silver finish in the 50-meter backstroke by grabbing golds in his next 6 events.
Will be relying on that unorthodox stroke for him to push himself through for a surprise win. Hwa Jung-won has perhaps got the better start, but Sudatawa is coming right back into the picture now as he gone out a little too quickly. Francis Fong still right in the mix. Angga Wijaja of Indonesia is right there as well. Sudatawa will turn in first place, just ahead of Jungwon, and then Fong in third place. But this is where Jungwon does most of his work, underwaters, and he in fact is inched slightly ahead of Sudatawa. Is it too late now for Jungwon? Sudatawa is slowly gassing out. Jungwon's coming right back into this. Hwa Jung-won has got an opportunity. Jungwon and Sudatawa, it's Hwa Jung-won who touches first, just ahead of Sudatawa, and Francis settles for bronze.
Big sister Hwa Jung-won also had a solid outing. On one night, she had 3 back-to-back events: the 100-meter free, the 50-meter butterfly, and the 4x200-meter freestyle relay. She took the 3 available golds.
But we all know how quick Hwa Jung-won is. Yet again, it is Janjira Srisaad who's gotten off to a very quick start, but underwaters from Hwa Jung-won just absolutely superb. But she's playing catch-up against the Thai girl all over again. Jasmine Al-Khaldi getting back into this race, but it is Hwa Jung-won who is slowly inching ahead of Janjira Srisaad, who doesn't have the engines to finish off this 50 meters race. Hwa Jung-won slowly inching ahead right now, just slightly ahead of Janjira Srisaad. Jasmine Al-Khaldi can't keep up with her. It will be Hwa Jung-won winning yet again by 0.11 seconds ahead of Srisaad, and Al-Khaldi in third position.
The Olympians had come up with the goods, and so did a couple of young swimmers.
This has got to be one of the most grueling races in swimming, Gerald.
Definitely, and this is a very different race from the one that we saw earlier. First, obviously, this is a 200-meter race.
Just 0.08 seconds above Tian Vien. Great underwaters though by the Vietnamese to inch just slightly ahead of Jungwon. That's the experience telling when she won in 2015. So we all know that this lady is strong in every stroke, and she's slowly inching ahead of Hwa Jung-won. Is Jungwon going to time this right? Because this is not just about the body, but also the mind. Hwa Jung-won has chosen the perfect time to kick and kick on, because from a 0.01 seconds deficit, she's made up 2.02 seconds in that 50-meter lap alone. It's Hwa Jung-won in just her second SEA Games and her first away games, winning Singapore's first gold medal in swimming at the 2017 Southeast Asian Games.
Hwa Jung-won, you know, she did an amazing job with the 100 fly and the 200 butterfly. You know, one of the main things that stuck right in my head really right now, and it's still very fresh, is actually Tiong Zen Wei. That one was something that we were like quite amazed with. So, you know, kudos to the both of them.
And how about Amanda Lim?
Yet again, the swimmer in lane number 6 has just exploded off the box, and that is Janjira Srisaad. But Amanda, this is where she takes over. At the moment, a very fast swim in lane number 5 from Jasmine Al-Khaldi, so too Janjira Srisaad, but this is where she can't live with Amanda, because Amanda's arms are just moving in double quick time at the moment. At little windmill and propeller, Hwa Jung-won is slowly getting back into this. Is she going to get some revenge over Amanda? Amanda has to hold on right now because there's a strong challenge coming in from the Thais, and Amanda does hold on, and she wins yet again, 0.05 over Hwa Jung-won, and Janjira finishes in third place.
She owns the 50-meter freestyle. She defended her title for the 5th straight games and rewrote her record for the 5th time. Amazing Amanda has just gone faster and faster in each games.
Being dominant in this one event for 5 consecutive Southeast Asian Games is no mean feat, and I think she's shown that she's a different class from the rest of the field.
And Team SG proved they were the ones to beat once again in the relays. They swept all 6 relay golds in both the men's and women's events for the 2nd straight games.
So a look through of the swimmers once again in the backstroke leg of the 4x100 meters, a medley relay for women. Thiangkwan Parapatako of Thailand, already a bronze medalist in the 100 meters backstroke at these games. She swims in lane 2 for Thailand. The first of 3 legs at the moment, Shavanuch Salabloig plunges in. She will be facing Singapore's new national record holder in the 100 meters breaststroke. So a very good first leg for Nurul Fitriati. We do know that Indonesia are perhaps the only team to threaten Singapore in this event, but they have Ananda Ivato, who finished third, just behind Samantha Yeo in yesterday's 100 meters breaststroke. Indonesia will still take the lead at the halfway stage of this race, and they'll hand it over to Adinda, a swimmer whose personal best in the butterfly is 1:02.26. And Singapore have got Kwa Ting Wen, the 200 meters butterfly gold medalist and the Commonwealth Youth Games champion in the 100 meters butterfly.
The lead to the sister, I mean, we know Ting Wen already won the 100 meter freestyle, so this is their race. Again, safe start for Ting Wen is what she should be focused on.
Superb underwaters by Ting Wen, we all know that. It's her only race tonight. Great swim by Natanan Junkrajang in her final relay race to make sure that maybe Thailand would win the silver medal, but surely gold for Singapore, just outside of the SEA Games record. They don't crack the SEA Games record as they did in the 4x100 and 4x200, but here in the medley it is gold once again, and it was all down to a superb swim.
It was only after all the effort had been expended that the emotional side showed.
It's been quite a difficult year, I think, for me. And sorry.
And I think I fought really hard for the past couple of years. It's been a very tough journey, and
it's quite a high pressure situation, you know, where you have your whole team, you have people, the whole country cheering for you, and you have that 1 to 2 minutes to give off your best, and when you're done, you know, you just feel this emotional release. So I think it's very natural, and I hope the swimmers don't get jaded, you know, by these things, because it's very important to actually feel emotion when you swim, to love swimming, and that shows the human side of them.
The Singapore swim team came to the Games with a largely youthful squad. That gamble paid off, and the bet is on them come the SEA Games in 2 years' time. And here's a quick look at the medal tally.
Team Singapore sent a total of 568 athletes to Kuala Lumpur. 308 of them were Games debutantes and 75 of them were just 20 years old or even younger.
And give credit because they came through in brilliant fashion. We just saw Kwa Ting Wen. She is 17 years of age and she won Singapore's 44th gold medal.
Also 17 years old, Lau Yi-wen, who fenced her way to the individual sabre gold. And her teammate even younger, at just 16 years old, Amita Nicole Berthier, well, she's now the individual fall champion.
And let's not forget as well Joan Lim, who is an Wushu exponent who impressed the judges enough to win 2 gold medals at these games.
Okay, we cannot forget Yushu Run, who is Singapore's first ever winter sports gold medalist. Absolutely incredible. Also just 17 years old.
Right, on these youthful cohorts rests the nation's hopes for the future. So we wish them and all our Team Singapore athletes all the very best.
We certainly salute them and their efforts and achievements. Anyway, till the next games, I'm Kelly Latimer.
And I'm Mark Richmond from KL 2017. Goodbye.